Food for Thought with Professor David Bitte.
Now, it is said that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, meaning your mind is the most powerful thing to determine the quality of your life. Welcome to Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. On the last episode, we began a very interesting conversation about panic attacks, understanding what they are and what causes them, and how to manage them and to treat them. But we didn't quite get to the end of that conversation. So we pick up from where we left off in the last episode. Professor, I'm also wondering, could one get a panic attack when a lot of expectation is put on you? You know, there's so much pressure to perform and a lot of expectation is put on you and so many people are depending on you. Could that be a recipe for a panic attack?
Yes, it can be a recipe for panic attack. Anything that puts undue pressure on you, and this pressure comes at a particular time, yes, it can precipitate a panic attack.
Mm-hmm. How then do you help somebody who gets panic attacks? Where do you even begin with them?
The most important thing, most important person in that management is actually the patient themselves.
Oh, how so?
Extremely important. It's very, very important for the person. If I am depressed, for example, if I am depressed, I need to understand what I'm going through. I need to understand what I am feeling. And I would hope that if I am seeing a doctor, the first question you would ask me after taking history from me is this question: do you know what is going on in your body? Do you understand what is going on? This is a question you would want to ask the patient. It's a question that you want to ask the relatives. Do they understand what is going on? And knowledge is power.
Yes.
Many people have problems, and they go on with these problems because they do not understand what is going on in their lives. They do not understand their symptoms. If I got a panic attack and my heart is racing, I need to understand that is not my heart that is sick.
Yeah.
If I have a headache, and there are some characteristics of headaches that are related, say, to anxiety, I need to understand and I need to be explained that those headaches are not as a result of a problem inside the brain. If I am breathing fast, and I need to understand, I need to be explained so that I can understand why I'm breathing like that is not because there's anything the matter with my lungs.
Yeah.
So the patient understanding what we are going through is critically important. And this is why in psychological medicine, you cannot afford to say, I am the doctor, I have made a diagnosis, go and do what I have told you to do, and then you shout next day, patient. At the end of the day, encourage the patient to ask questions so that as they leave that office, we have a very clear understanding of what is going on in their lives. And that is so critically important. I can give you stories upon stories where even people who have done research to find out, does it make a difference if the patient understands what they are going through as opposed to being told by the doctor what they should do without being told why they should be doing those things.
Yes.
That the doctor is saying. We are talking about professional communication. Very important. I may be the best doctor in the world. I may have all the best qualifications. I may have come at the top of the class. I may have all the degrees. But if I'm not able to relate on a one-on-one basis with a patient, those degrees and those qualifications do not matter to the patient.
Right.
That's why you hear stories like this. There is a doctor somewhere, and he may be even a clinical officer. And they will move from here and go through all the specialists in Nairobi and go to some very remote place because they have been told that doctor listens or that clinical officer listens. So it's very important. So the most important person is the patient himself. If people are hearing voices, for example, and the people do hear voices, and they can hear crystal clear, I may be digressing, and they can hear crystal clear voices like you are hearing my voice. But you can't tell them they are not hearing their voice.
Yeah, because they are
actually hearing the voice.
Yeah.
They think it's because of some evil spirits or something, and the people around them will tell you, you are pretending that you can't be hearing voices, we are not talking. But that person is hearing. But if you sit down with that person and tell you, yes, I agree with you, you are hearing voices. And the voices may be telling you this and that and that and that. But I have different explanation for this. It's a condition which presents like this, and we can chase away those voices if you do ABCD.
Okay.
That patient will leave that place very late.
Okay.
Because they understand their condition.
I'm just thinking about a scenario of a child. We previously talked about students and how sometimes they get panic attacks, especially during the times of an exam. For me as a parent, if I realize that my child actually does get panic attacks, how do I help them? Because I'm thinking this is something, if we don't deal with, may even affect their self-esteem, how they see themselves. They may grow up thinking that hawako kamili, there's something so wrong with them. So as a parent, where do I begin? How do I help my child?
I think the most important thing is, again, you as a parent, to understand that your child is going through a panic attack. Or is going through anxiety or some kind of depression, and they see that as a medical condition. Don't see that as a reflection of a child who is not responsible, a child who is not disciplined, never shout at this child, never use the stick, because it's just going to complicate the matters for that child. So the understanding of the parent is very important. But more often than not, you cannot blame the parents because they do not know, they do not understand. But I think a program like this will make them understand what is going on and avoid doing the wrong things. And then after that, if we realize there's this kind of problem, then they can seek help. When you have a situation where there is community or family cohesion, we are talking about social support, and maybe there's somebody in the family or somebody in the social network, or somebody whose child has gone through the same process, and they can be extremely very helpful by saying, you know what, I had a son I had a daughter, lovely child who was going through this. We thought it was a terrible thing, and this is what we did, and the thing seemed to help. So getting support from people who are close to you, getting support or understanding from your social networks, even long before you start going to see a professional, it can easily help or tremendously help. But as you go out trying this and that, and the more as you start, most of the problem will be resolved at that level when you understand what could be going wrong. The child understands, the child may not understand, but you as a parent understand. Other people in the family, extended family, friends can help even in workplaces. Then majority of the people can be managed at that level. But then there will always be situations where there is need for highly specialized skills, especially when it is necessary to prescribe certain types of medicines. And again, it's like you start with a base like this, and then as you go up, you can see right at the top, only a few people will need to see very highly specialized skills.
Okay.
It's important for us to do these things, and I'll tell you the reason why. We have very few professionals in this country. And then one time I was talking to a very famous psychiatrist, and we were having a discussion. And we say, when shall we have the resources that are available in the Western settings?
Yes.
Because we have very few resources in terms of highly specialized professional. This person is a housed man. He was out against the war and said, if you ask me, it may take 1,000 years for us to achieve what they have already achieved.
Wow.
Maybe that was a hyperbole. But basically what he was saying, we have a long way to go. The point is, yes, we may have a long way to go, but we have the same problems right here, the same problems that we have over there, descending the same way. Are we going to tell them, sorry, there's nothing I can do for you, we just have to wait until we have enough resources?
No.
That would be ridiculous.
Yes. What
we are saying is, and listen to me very carefully, a time comes when you have to be innovative and say, I have this stick, this is what I have in my hand. Like Moses was asked by God, what do you have? He had a stick. Okay? So start with what you have. So here in Kenya, and when I'm talking about Kenya, I am talking of Kenya as an example of very many countries we call low and middle income countries. We have to learn to use what the stick that we have in our hands before we can get those resources that may take a long time to come. Because this person, if it's me, it's my child, I want resource today. Don't tell me, sorry, we don't have the necessary resources. We have to wait for a long time now.
Okay. Indeed, knowledge is power. When you begin to understand some of the things about our mind and how it works, then some of these conditions that we stigmatize look like something that we can manage. Remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's food for thought for today.